Hello, everybody, and welcome to Toffee Bluecast Instant Match Reaction, a show where we go live before and after the game. And we want all of you to get involved. We want to know how you feel after this game. The result was Wolves 1, Everton 1. Get in the comments how you feel. Instant match reaction. Get it out of your system. See how we feel. Paul, how we doing, mate? You all right?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure Scar's just being sarcastic there. I hope so anyway, because it certainly wasn't. I'm not disappointed with a point. I didn't think we played great. They're definitely no shake, especially without Cunha. And yeah, I'm probably a little bit disappointed. We just didn't create more, to be honest, and go forward a bit more. That conversation that we had about Decore or Alcaraz being in the 10, I think tonight we saw the reason why Alcaraz can be a better shout than Decore. I think we didn't hold the ball well enough or create enough from that number 10 position tonight, and Beto ran his socks off really, but he couldn't really get hold of anything. The one chance really that he seemed to have was the one when Alcaraz got on the ball, got away from about 2 or 3 players, and then played it through for him, and he had to go on his right foot. So, I mean, that was an example of what we can do, and I just think Decore doesn't set up those chances for Beto, and at the moment, Beto seems to be the main opportunity, main force of us going forward, unless it's a set piece. So things to be frustrated about. But again, we stopped the team below us from getting any closer. And you look at it now and you think below them as well. I mean, we're looking to look up now. You know, I don't think we can be worried about below us anymore, without a doubt. I just think we should maybe push on to try and win a few more games, and the home games will be like that. I could see us starting Alcaraz in the home game against West Ham, for example. I'd hope so anyway.
Comments flooding in. Get your comments in. We want to know how you feel after the game. It's just all of us getting together, and we'll put your comments on the screen so you're with us here to tell us how you feel. Yeah, in the comments, I can see as you're saying that, a lot of people are putting Alcaraz Decore, main topic. Alcaraz obviously come on and had a fantastic game, and we've looked a better team when Alcaraz has come on. So I can see why people are probably thinking they wished Alcaraz started instead of Decore, because we did look better. We'll try and break the game down. We'll go from the start to the finish, as we always do. That's what we do on the match reaction. It's hard to break it down in your head, but we will. We'll talk about a couple of things that have happened. I mean, I said it, didn't I, Paul? I said it on the pre-match. I said a break's not good for us. It really isn't good for us, because what I feel is we've got a lot of confidence like players, where I think if you give some of our players too much time to think about it, they've got a lot going through their head. And when they come back, they've got too much going on and they can't just play the game. And I think I've seen that a little bit that first half. I think when we have a break, our players look like it's the first game they've ever played. And it always happens with us. It's like, do you know when you go to work and you're like, when you're in routine, you just do it without thinking about it, because every day you work grafting, and eventually, Paul, you're in routine. And I think when we had those 7 unbeaten games before the actual holiday break, the players wasn't even thinking about it, because they had a game the weekend, they had a game midweek, and they're not even thinking about whether they're good enough. They're not thinking about how to play in games. They're just literally in a zone where they're just playing, and they're not thinking whether they're good enough or questioning things. And I think when you've gone on holiday like they've done, and they've thought about so much stuff, like when we have this Wolves game, I'm going to score, or I'm going to assist, or I'm going to do this, or I'm going to do that. I think a lot of these players have just, that's how they come back. They've got so much in their heads, and they're not ready, and they're not in the mode. And I think that's what happened today, first half. Really off it, James Garner, Paul. Sorry, but you was. And there's a lot of players that was put, and I know we'll get people in the comments, rightly so, that will say we're unbeaten in 8 and we're doing fantastic, which I completely agree with. But I do believe that we need to start setting the bar a little bit higher now. And I think if there's been bad stuff in the game, we can rightly call it out. I don't think we should not call it out, because that's how you can fall back into the hole. Like, that is how you can fall back into the hole. And if we want to keep this unbeaten in 8 games going, I do feel if we play like that again against another team, we'll be in a bit of trouble, because that first half was really poor for me. It was nowhere near what we was before the break. So I do think they need a little bit of a shake-up and wake up, Paul, because that first half, Emma says, snooze fest, you wish you watched the darts. I thought it was a really bad first half. It was. I really did think it was a bad first half. And somehow we got the first goal, and we spoke about it in the pre-match. Obviously, we'll talk about bits and bobs now. We spoke about it in the pre-match. We said, did you choose Harrison or Lindstrom when I gave you the option on my prediction?
I said Lindstrom, didn't I?
You did,
I
didn't
did
you?
say Lindstrom, yeah.
I was
and then
Harrison,
actually, I said Lindstrom, and then someone commented, "Yeah, I'm glad you never said Harrison."
Yeah, and I think Paws was like, "No, Harrison, I'm not setting him yet, Dan. You're making it sound like he's getting super good already." But no, I did say Harrison was getting better, and I did get told in the comments I can't see that, but I could see a goal coming. Anyway, you know what? Deflection, but I think Harrison looked like one of our better players today attacking. He didn't look that bad. Wasn't a world beater. Nowhere near the level of Illiman and Jai, but he's definitely better than what he was. And fair play to him. He got us the first goal. And when you go away to Wolves, you're going into someone's house, by the way, and you go into someone's house, Wolves, then it's very hard to make it your game and take over the house straight away. And we did. We got the first goal. And nothing frustrates me more, Paul, than when you get the first goal, and which is really hard to do away, by the way, to be in control and get the first goal and quieten all the fans down, and the fans turn against them then. It's very hard to do that. I feel you've got to fully take advantage when you get that first goal. And if their goal that they score to get them back in the goal, which we shouldn't have let happen, if it's a good goal, I can accept. Now, talk to me about this goal, Paul, because I was really peed off with this goal that we let them score.
Yeah. I mean, it was play down the left hand, our right hand side. Nothing too dramatic. It was literally played into left-sided midfielder who was playing in front of O'Brien. O'Brien's, he doesn't turn, the guy just plays it inside. It was really the left back who'd run from, say, Garner Gay's position, and he didn't sort of keep up with it, and we kept going towards the edge of the box. We didn't come out at all. We were almost looked as though we were caught on the break, but it wasn't even that kind of situation. And then their guy just literally plays a daisy cutter pass sort of across the penalty spot, and Branthwaite's just behind. I know who was it? Paws was mentioning that he'd blaming Branthwaite for their goal. I mean, it was behind him, and he tries to get a flick on it. I didn't think the guy's shot was particularly hard, but it was just, I think he probably mishit it and is sort of bobbled in the corner with Pickford getting fingers. So it's one of those goals that you would look at and say, no, we were very much able to stop that from happening, but we didn't. And from that point, then I know that's 40 minutes. So coming into the half time thinking, all right, we've not done great. We went ahead, we've lost that. And then we should be coming out second half with a bit more purpose. And I don't think we truly did that. I don't think we truly pushed them back. I felt it was the other way around. And that was a shame. That I actually thought Charlie should have probably come on a bit earlier. Robenham could have come on earlier for James Garner, for example. I think it was just lackluster without a little bit of drive, and you do lose that. You know, if you're playing your Wednesday, Saturday, you know, and you're doing that for 7 games, like you said, you're in a routine and you got your training, you're working on the next one, and your adrenaline's still up there, you're focused. But then you have a break away where you've been sort of relaxing, a bit of training. It's warm weather training. They're not going to be beasting them. You know, it's not. I can't imagine it was like Deitch sort of doing a gaffer day or anything like that. But it was it's that pause in that momentum, and so everyone came down a little bit. Everyone just relaxed a little bit, and we weren't back up there where we needed to be because Wolves are obviously still fighting. You know.
Yeah, well, I said it was a 6-pointer before, and it was, because it could have been like 6 points away from them. It really, like, you generally get that 3 points. It's 3 points are needed, and it was a massive game. It really was. I just wasn't happy with the goal. I wasn't. I mean, you've just spoke on it, and I'll say my part on it as well. Am I wrong on this? Because tell me if I'm wrong, because we all think we know stuff in football, and sometimes we've got different opinions and stuff. Mikalenko goal side? Would you wrong side of the man? Would you say he's got to be? He's got to be. It's not like a goal side, but I think if you're the other side, you've got to be closer to the goal than him. If you're on the outside,
Maybe I don't think Mikalenko was involved too much. Really, I think it was it Tarkovsky who was the closest person for when the guy got a shot, and in fact Tarkovsky sort of lent into him a little bit right at the end. I was kind of hoping that would be enough, but I think you're probably talking the lads in the middle being out of position and us being a little bit flat in that middle. So
I can't. Obviously, we just get flashes sometimes of what we've seen, and I just remember Mikalenko just whilst he shot the wrong side of him. I don't know. I could be wrong, but the main topic was James Garner in the middle. It just looks so easy. I think you've got to take a player out and get a yellow card sometimes when you're getting caught out on the counter like that. He just looked energyless. Garner did today. I think you made a good point, and because we've got to be honest here, and come at me if you think different, but because David Moyes has been doing so well, and I'm in love with him, and he's improving us so much, I'm hesitant on calling things out that I feel that is a bit wrong. And I think it was last game or the other game, I thought he was a bit late on the substitutions, But I didn't say much because I thought, you know what, we're unbeaten in 7, we're doing well. And I think today was late in the substitutions. I think when James Garner's not doing that well, and you've got Irabunum who's chomping at the bit to play and get his chance, who's going to try and take James Garner's position, I think you just got to say to James Garner, right, it's not your game. Come off. Don't keep playing him through playing bad, because it was getting worse and worse. I think you've got to say, come off, because he has had good games, by the way. I'm not writing him off, but come off, give Irabunum a game. And I think when Irabunum come on, he was holding on to the ball and looked decent. I think the same with Decore as well. I think we said Decore's for a certain tactic of pressing. Decore wasn't suiting this Wolves game. I think straight away you've got to say Decore as well. You come off. Alcaraz, you're going to suit Wolves. And I knew that Alcaraz was going to suit Wolves, by the way, because they wouldn't like a character like him. They really wouldn't. And I knew he'd be more of a threat. So I think Moyes should have, instead of the time he brought Alcaraz and Irabunum on when he was a lot better, I think he should have been looking to bring them on 55 minutes straight after half-time, if not half-time. And I know that's crazy to bring someone on that early, but I generally think when someone's played so bad for 45 minutes, Decore and James Garner, you just bring them off, because it's that important to beat Wolves that you don't want to make it too late that you make these decisions. So I believe that we should have been bringing them off and bringing Alcaraz on, who we said we wanted to start, and bringing Irabunum on as well. You've got Moyes is doing everything right. I don't want him to start doing a dice on me and peeing me off with substitutions. He's got to bring them on quicker, because I love Moyes at the minute, and I know I don't want to get grumpy on him on anything, but he's way too late on substitutions for me, because we spoke about the start of the game was really bad. A big moment that we can probably all talk about is I don't know how we did it. It felt like, where you've been in two boxers have been in a fight and they've both got to win like the last rounds, because Wolves had a really dangerous attack where they nearly scored, didn't they? Like, they was putting it on us, Wolves was. They was really putting it on us. They was throwing big punches, Wolves was, to score against us to get the win. And then all of a sudden, we did a really intricate pass, didn't we, to get out? And we, like, through the middle, it was a one touch. And all of a sudden, Alcaraz is there. Boom, burst through the middle. And this is where Alcaraz looks like he's got something, because he's holding on to it and he's going for it. And then Alcaraz has ran through and Alcaraz has passed it at the perfect time for Beto. Perfect time. Beto threw on goal. And Beto has missed again, which I was like, oh, my days. No. It's not the worst shot that Beto's done in the world again. I think he's put it to the side, but I think the problem I will say with this Beto shot is that he's opened his body up that much that the keeper can read that he's going to the right. Do you know what I mean? Like, he's opened it up. And I think he's gone in where we say he opens his body up nice early to get himself in good position to shoot. I think because this one was so far back, he's opened his body up and you can see he's going to put it to the right. And it's an easy save for the keeper from Beto. I would personally like Beto to hold it on to that a bit longer, Paul, because he either would have had a closer shot on goal or Alcaraz was running in the box as well back in on the right-hand side. So I think he could have held on to it a bit longer if the shot, because the shot was quite far out and not that good of an angle. But talk to me, the Beto chance. It was a big chance, wasn't it?
It was. You don't even get that chance if that's the Corey on the ball. You know, James Garner's done well when we've had the ball on the edge of the box, managed to get a toe in, and then that sent Alcaraz away. The Corey's not going to get away from those defenders, I don't think. First of all, if that's, you know, if he's on the ball instead of Alcaraz, and Alcaraz did really well. He did it at the right time, I felt, and the difference is that when Beto has had some of his goals that he's scored mainly at home, actually. If you think about the game when he got a brace, it was first time shot right foot, but the ball was a bit more central at that point. If you think about the Palace game when Beto scored, and you're thinking about that exact scenario, Alcaraz on the inside left, bringing the ball forward after their guy had messed up for their throw in, but he plays it in for Beto perfectly. Beto has a touch with his left foot and then, sort of scoops it over the keeper, doesn't he, for the Palace goal? So that is the exact thing that Beto perhaps should have done tonight in that opportunity. He almost had to turn, like you say, he had to turn his body and his foot so much that there was only one place that shot was actually going to go. So he might sort of think of that as... he will think of that as a massively missed opportunity. But we had some. There was other opportunities that we could have had. There was other opportunities we could have had. There was a great one where
Beto running in just didn't run in on time before this big Beto chance that we said.
Yeah,
I think Beto had a chance
even a better one was we got the ball on the right hand side. I think it was actually O'Brien tries to get a cross in. Beto's in the middle. O'Brien tries to get a crossing. It's blocked by the defender who's on the deck. O'Brien plays it back for Alcaraz, still in the 18-yard box. Two Wolves players think he's going to shoot. He doesn't. He flicks it in between his legs, so then he's on his left-hand side. Garner Gay's like 6-7 yards away, just ready, like a Johnny Wilkinson, sort of just ready with his right foot, ready just to sort of plant it in the corner. And Alcaraz gave it a shot. There were just moments where just a little bit more composure, a little bit more clarity between the players would have created more goals for us tonight. And we wouldn't have had 9, 10, 11 shots on goal. It was just those key moments, because it wasn't a game where there were tons of shots and tons of goalkeeping saves, I didn't think. I think Pickford did generally an all right job, to be fair. I'm just looking now. There were 7 shots on target altogether. There's plenty of block shots, without a doubt. We had 12 attempts on target. 7 of them were blocked. And it was fairly even, apart from the possession, for example. Let me just. I'm just going to throw this up while we're talking and keep sending you comments.
Keep coming in. Callum Stubbs in the arse, Frank's coming on. He said, as always, Dan, cheer up. You don't look happy. Well, my bar is high now. It really is high. I don't want to fall back into these relegation battles and stuff like that. And I know what we're capable of. I really do know what we're capable of. And the fact we had Alcaraz on the bench that could have been so effective at the start of the game, I don't just let stuff like that go. My bar is high now. We've got David Moore. He's a good manager. And I want to see us be the best we can be and play the best we can play. And I do believe that although Wolves was the better team, as it said in the comments, let's be honest, a draw was a good result because Wolves was a better team. I don't want them to be a better team. I want us now to push and be better. I'm using this last patch of the end of this season to get us ready to be ready for next season in that new stadium to put in a real good season. I want our first season in Bramley Moor Dock us to be top 10, 10th, 9th, 8th. I really do. And I think if we're playing like we are now at the start of next season and we bring in some good signings, which it looks like we're going to do, there's no reason that we can't be. I don't want to fall back into that hole that we've been in for the last 3 seasons because I've been on this channel and we've been shite. And now, finally, I'm seeing us get better. If we're getting better, then my bar's higher. Every time you see us, these Everton players get a little bit better, set the bar a little bit higher again. Then they get better. Then you set the bar a little bit higher again. We become a really good team. Don't want to fall back into that trap. And this is why we say when players have a good game, we say that player's had a good game now. He set the bar higher for himself. That's what you say, don't you, Paul? That's what you literally say, is that they've set the bar higher for themselves now. And I think these players are setting the bar higher for themselves. And I need us to keep smashing it. Even your stadium will be flooded with the first bit of rain from the river.
No, well, he says, Callum says, basically settling for what we said. And we're not disappointed with that at all. But we're playing a team below us. If you're playing a team below you, then you should be looking to win the game. Generally,
yeah, 100%.
And especially if you score first as well. You know what though? A stat came up on the screen after we went 1-0 up, and it said Wolves. Oh, it was goals. No, games won after conceding the first goal for Wolves, and they've won once, they've drawn twice, and they lost 14. And I just thought that's balls it now, isn't it? That's absolutely balls it because it's us. So it could have been worse. It could have been worse, but it wouldn't have been. It would have been okay. It wouldn't have been fair. I don't think it would have been a fair result if we had got B. I don't think we deserved to get B. I also think though that maybe we didn't do enough to deserve to win the game, and I think they were the same. I think both sides are probably in the end happy with that point because we keep them in that gap, that 10-point gap, and they obviously just get one more point away from the terrible teams at the bottom. To be fair, absolutely terrible this season. That's what will probably save Wolves in the end, really.
But when we play teams like Wolves today, I remember what it was like fighting at the bottom. I remember being in Wolves' situation. You could hear the whole Wolves stadium today being what we was like when we was in those big games where we could get relegated. And you could see all the, for a fact we've done it. We had a roundup when we thought we was going to get relegated, and all of us fans rose up to stop Everton from getting relegated. Those Wolves fans are doing that now. Those Wolves fans are doing everything they can not get relegated. And I could feel that in the Wolves stadium. And I don't want to be in that situation again. So I just generally, I want to put a game like that to bed. They didn't take nothing off us, so they haven't gained nothing off us. We're not safe yet. That's the thing. We're not safe yet. And if we keep the only thing that scares me is that I don't want to become dice results. Where dice results was draws. I don't want to be like that. I don't just want draws. But the difference is, I think, with dice, we was drawing and we wasn't attacking that much. We was very defensive. I think we're drawing games now, but I'm thinking Beto could have scored. Then Beto could have scored the other chance. Then Garnegay hit that shot too early where he hit it over. He could have scored. O'Brien at the back post got a shot blocked. And I'm thinking, you know what? We had enough chances to be. We are better. We're not that Daesh team. Yeah. So we definitely are improving.
Yeah, I think so. And there's been lots of clips this week on Twitter and that about when we drew 1-1 at Wolves away. It's where Keane sets up Yerry Mina in.
Yeah, I've seen that. Yeah.
Injury time. Oh God! Just watching those clips and remembering how that felt was. Oh God! It just felt so awful. So if you think about where we were and we've stayed up, and now we're disappointed that we're not winning away there. The 1-1 draw tonight is a completely different kind of feeling. So there's positives to take in what we've currently got, and also, like we said before, still unbeaten in this little run. So 8 games. West Ham at home next. So it's a game that we'll be looking to win. I know Moyes would fancy a win against them and all. So and then we've got the derby. So it's not all doom and gloom at all. We're definitely not saying that, but you got to call out 1 or 2 bits when it's not quite right. And I think Alcaraz not having a bigger part to play in the game has reduced the number of opportunities we really would have got, because the two of the biggest chances came from him in the build up. So
you don't want to go off the boil. You don't want to go off the boil, and I think that's important for us now. As we're unbeaten in 8, but I think if we're calling out little things and trying to keep the standard high and the bar high, I don't think that's a problem. By the way, I think that'll only improve us and make us better. And we need to get out of what we was, because I think the bar was so low we become a relegation team under Daesh. And I do believe we've got to keep pushing this team now and setting the bar higher. And we are unbeaten in 8, by the way. I am so happy with. We've not had this in a long time. I don't know the stats, Paul. You're probably better than me on that. But I can't remember the last time we was unbeaten in 8.
A while ago, I think. Certainly not with the amount of wins in that run. We might well have had a run where it's been vast majority draws, but no. What normally happens, obviously, which we don't want to happen, is that we have a bad run, then we have a really good run, and then suddenly we have a long bad run again. So it's making sure that we keep going as well as we possibly can. And if there is a little hiccup in the road, and there will be, because it's inevitable, every team has them, that you just bounce back quicker than perhaps we've done in the past. But I think we're equipped for doing that now. I think when we go a goal down, I don't feel an absolute sense of dread and doom anymore. I think we're a little bit stronger emotionally, physically. We're an assertive team. We're strong on the ball. I think that's what they were saying about the reverse fixture against Wolves, is that we were stronger than they were, and totally deserved possession and the win, as big as it was. So we're definitely in a stronger place and more resilient.
One thing I will say is that our defence has been fantastic. Our defence is really good at the moment.
It is good. Mark's saying last time we did 7 unbeaten, Moyes was in charge. So 8 is before that. So there you go. Really, we've not had the most consistent of runs in the years since Moyes left. So it's been a long time, to be fair.
Well, some people say, I think when we had the West Ham fans on the channel, they said Moyes is boring sometimes, but it's these sort of runs that can get you Europa League next season. Do you know, if you're unbeaten in 8 games next season, if you're unbeaten in 8 games and you put these sort of patches together, which Moyes often does, by the way, he's a grinder. This isn't the first time. Moyes did this for West Ham. He finds consistency. And that's what we've got at the minute, is consistency. We're travelling away at Wolves. We're not crumbling. We're good enough in defence to always make sure we're in the game. And we take our chances. Sometimes we win, sometimes we don't. I feel if we was more decisive attacking today, we'd have come away with the win. But we wasn't. But we still come away with the draw. And I think that's how we are at the minute. And I like that. I feel like we're often guaranteed a draw unless the game goes bad for us because we're so good defensively. That's how it feels. And I think today we did. I always thought we was going to get a draw. I was 100% confident we was going to get a draw, and I think that's why I was a bit disappointed we didn't get the win, because I felt comfortable. Braithwaite's fantastic. Tarkowski's playing well now as well. O'Brien's doing the job on the right. Mikolenko's doing the job on the left. I think the goal was to do with centre midfield. So go on. It would look very fragile down the middle, didn't we? We played Decore to be that extra man in centre midfield, and for that goal to be like that, just wasn't good enough.
No, well, that's where I think that's where the thing is. You know, when Decore's had his best games recently, they've perhaps been against sides where we expected the other team to have all the possession, you know, and then we've pressed. And Decore's been really good at pressing. He wasn't as good tonight, but I felt maybe it was a slightly different game, maybe because we were away from home. But I do think we weren't good enough at keeping the ball in that sort of midfield to attack position. We're good at doing it at the back, like you say. I felt pretty confident, like you did, with everyone at the back, and there was no kind of panic. We played the ball out quite well, actually, and kept it quite well. But then when the midfield got it, to then get it to the sort of forward four players was a different kind of mentality, and we didn't really create as much as we should have, you know. So
no, I agree with you, and I just it's a shame we haven't got Illiman and Jai. I think Illiman and Jai is really gutting that he's injured. And this is a positive, by the way, because we are putting these results together 8 unbeaten, where we've lost a big winger in McNeil and a big winger in Illiman and Jai as well. So, and we've only got one striker. We're playing with. I expected Shamisi to come on today. What did you think of that? Was he on the bench?
He was on the bench, yeah. Yeah, he kind of. I think if it was another week, 10 days, I have absolutely no doubt that Beto would have come off with 10, 20 minutes to go, and Schmidt would have got his chance to have a run. Beto, to his credit, works bloody hard. He does. And at the moment, whereas you would get a better 60 minutes out of him, he's going to wane after that. You know, I think DCL would be the same if Dominic was fit and he started. He would start waning as well after about an hour, 70 minutes. So then Beto will come on, but Beto hasn't got that luxury of being able to do that. So chances are he's been told, we need you to last. So there's going to be plenty of times where he would have put a burst on that he's maybe not done that to last the 90 minutes. So
100%. He knows he's got to last the whole game with Beto.
Yeah.
Beto, for me today, I think he's effective some games and some games he's not effective. Looking at this game today, I could be wrong, but I think they had very big centre-backs. The lads were big boys at the centre-backs for Wolves. They've got rid of Dawson, and they've got 2 lads that are Beto's size that could handle him today. I don't think he could bully him today, Paul. So I don't think it suited him. Do you know where normally we say he hurts players and he knocks them about and stuff like that? I don't know what the name of the new centre-back, it's got off the top of my head, but he was a big lad. He was the size of Beto, and Beto couldn't bully him. And I think that affected him a little bit. He didn't overpower him or have more power than him. I don't think it suited him, this one.
Well, I think
into him to hold it up.
Yeah, I know what you mean, and they defended well against him. I think the bit was that when Garnegay and James Garner got the ball, they were the ones that were going to create something. It wasn't going to go. It wasn't going to go through Decore. If anything, the game didn't pan out that way, and I could never see our play going through Decore for us then to score a goal. He's usually the end. He's the end. You know what I mean? If he's running into the box or anything else, you're not going to get Decore creating a massive amount. I don't think. Certainly not with him having any time to think about it. So you have that gap then. You have that disconnect between your midfield and the striker. And then if you're thinking about the other attacking players that we've got, apart from Decore and Beto, then you're talking Lindstrom and Harrison. Ian says here he doesn't think that either of them are particularly up to it. Certainly weren't today. And West and Wolves generally.
Do you think that's harsh on Harrison after getting a goal though, or not? Sorry to overtalk you. Just been like asking you a question on what he said.
I'm sort of thinking about the times when Harrison got for. I've got his stats actually. Just here, I'll just throw one in a sec.
Just think like he hasn't scored in ages. He's got a goal. He probably thinks he's had an alright game today, and then people are saying, "Yeah, that good."
Yeah, well, no, he's.
But then I do get. Yeah,
He's done
but I
all
do
right.
get that. Just because he scored, it don't mean he was that. I still think he scored, and I was like, yes, Harrison, go on, have a smashing game. But then after, he still ran into players a little bit, and he still wasn't as effective, as dangerous as you want after he scored. And I'm looking at that. He's nowhere near the level of Iliman and Jai. Iliman and Jai is just so much better and dangerous down that left-hand side. So much more dangerous. Like, players can't handle Iliman and Jai. And I think that's what you want from your wingers. You want your winger to put real fear into the players that he's up against. And Jai did that. Don't think Harrison puts that fear into him. And it was a really good goal. And I'm happy he is improving because we need it badly. And we needed his goal today badly. But I can see why. I appreciate what he did, but I can see why you'd probably think you want someone that's going to be more dangerous than what Harrison and Lindstrom would be.
Yeah, and I mean, if I think back to Jack's crosses, I can think of one first half. Beto's running in alongside his defender. There was a defender sort of closing Jack down, but there was a huge gap to play a half decent ball in, and he's absolutely cracked it right across the area, a good 10 yards at least in front of Beto. He had no chance of getting it. So an opportunity there. And I'm thinking second half, when he's got the ball on the left-hand side, yes, there's one or two defenders in front of him, but he didn't get any of those crosses in. You know, they were always blocked. We got some corners out of it. I get that. That's not a problem. That's, I suppose, a positive in some ways, but he struggles to get the cross in past that defender, and whether it's a lack of trickery, a lack of pace, or lack of support, whatever it is, he doesn't seem to. He certainly didn't seem to have much success tonight. I mean, it's quite a low pass accuracy rate, even for a winger, I would have thought. So
yeah, I completely agree with you. I think grateful for the goal, but he just doesn't. I don't think he destroys players. I think he'll run into a little bit of space and do a crossing. He'll run into a little bit of space and put a crossing. But I don't think he creates things when he runs into the spaces. The spaces that he runs into, it doesn't feel really dangerous. Where Njai on the wing goes on that left-hand side, you feel Njai, this is the difference. Harrison, you don't feel that he's going to run from that left wing and go to try and score if he can.
No.
And Jai, you feel that from that left wing, he could run in and try and score. And I think that's what you want from
I think he's got a
wingers,
different mentality.
Yeah, that's the thing. And
I think he's got a different mentality as well. I think since Jack has been on that left-hand side, whether he's been encouraged or he just feels comfortable in doing it, he'll go on the outside. He's not an Njai kind of player where he's going to do right foot and have that jinky run on the inside. So, I mean, that's Alcaraz's stats, for example. He's only on 27 minutes. He had more than half of what touches Jack had. 2 shots, 1 on target, successful passes.
Oh, he's fantastic.
Passing accuracy high. I mean, if anything, I mean, he's only on, less than a third of the game or whatever, but he's involved. Do you know what I mean? And it might say, some people might say it's because of the position that he was holding and everything else. He certainly did more to affect the game than most people who started.
I keep saying, I know a good player when I see one, and I am telling you, I said it on the shorts. Alcaraz, he's going to be a big player. He's going to be a massive player, and I do think we'll sign him. I hope we do anyway. I pray to God we do, because he's exactly what we need. He ticks all the boxes, and I'll give you a couple of scenarios. Alcaraz has come on. O'Brien has that shot that gets blocked. It comes out. Alcaraz has a shot on target, so he's straight away looks threatening. Alcaraz runs from like literally the halfway line and has the composure that probably Decore wouldn't have to. You think when Alcaraz is making that run, he could go himself. He's got more ability than Decore, where you think he could score from this run. This is a run where he could just go and not stop. But he's also got the ability where he's got the technical ability where he can put it to Beto on a plate like he did. and Beto missed. So there was that Alcaraz chance. So Alcaraz has had a shot on target. Alcaraz has put one on the plate for Beto when he's come on. He's not been on long. And then there was also a moment, you'll remember in your head watching it, Alcaraz running down the left-hand side. He's running down the left wing and really tight position where we probably just normally try and get a throw in, but he just keeps going and he keeps going and he gets us right up the pitch and they put a sliding tackle in and he doesn't look like he's going to stop. And straight away, I heard someone say it later on, they're like, we've got a player like Iliman and Jai in Alcaraz. We have. I do think when you've got Iliman and Jai and Alcaraz, do you know where we play a 4-2-3-1? I think the three players behind the striker, Paul, if you've got Alcaraz in that 10 and you've got Iliman and Jai and you've got someone decent on the right, we're going to be a force with that. I wouldn't want to play against them. I wouldn't want to play against someone like Alcaraz and Jai and adding another skillful player to that. So I do think we're on our way to being something really dangerous because I don't know how we got Alcaraz, but we've been crying out for a good number 10 for ages. And it's really hard to get a good number 10. And then all of a sudden in a transfer window where we don't think we're going to get no one, out the blue, we get the pink flamingos flying over saying you can have Alcaraz. And I don't know how it happened, but we've landed on a really good player and we've got the option to buy. So I do think we'll get Alcaraz now. And that's a big problem for us sorted because we needed number 10. And I think he'll get better and better for us.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, if there's any opposition fans watching now, who would you rather Everton had as their number 10? Because I'd imagine that if Decore comes onto the team sheet, they know that it's going to be, say, physical battle, but he may not create a lot. Whereas if you've got Alcaraz is still physical, but he's a baller.
He is a baller.
That's create things, and you'd be a bit more worried. I think you'd certainly, as centre backs, you would maybe prefer to go up against the likes of Beto and Decore in a physical battle, as opposed to someone who's going to certainly receive the ball in a lot of different places on the pitch.
Do you know where you get? Do you know where you get number 10s, which we haven't had for a long time, where you get number 10s that turn up a lot of games and score goals and they create goals. An example, Odegaard for Arsenal, Fernandes for Man United. Your big number 10s, they win games. They turn up in that number 10 position and the technical, and they take a lot of weight on the shoulders for the team, the number 10s. They are match-winning players. And I don't think Decore is that. No offense to him. I think he's a big engine and he does the job and he's a good squad player. We might sign him, give him a new contract on a low wage. But I do feel Alcaraz has got a bit of that personality where he could take a bit of weight on his shoulders to make us a good team. He's got that drive, hasn't he? He's got that mentality. He's a proper footballer. Like you said, he's a baller. And he could be a good player for us, Alcaraz. I'm excited to see what's going to come with him. I could be getting excited too early, but he looks what we've been craving for.
Yeah. Without a doubt. I mean, he's one of those. He's one of those players that if he's receiving the ball, say he's receiving the ball in that 10 position, you know that he can turn quickly and he can start an attack. And I don't think, and it just sounds as though I'm Decore bashing, but Decore or otherwise, I think that there's players who would be in that position who would receive that ball and would just want to keep the ball, as in lay it off to the fullbacks or something like that. And you need those players who can receive the ball on the turn, because everyone. I mean, if we're getting the ball, in that 10 position, and you're not expecting that person to turn and create an attack, then the crowd themselves aren't up on their feet. But I tell you what, Njai, Alcaraz, they get the ball, you know that the first thing they're going to try and do is turn and create something. And that's when you get the crowd on their feet. So I'm really going to look forward to that next season. I hope we do get Alcaraz. I really do.
Yeah, I really do hope
I think he could work really well with Njai. That would be class.
Yeah. It excites me, and that's what we need. We need some off-your-seat exciting players. Moy said he's going to get us those type of players, and that's what we need. We deserve it. We've had a lot of blending players that just they're too shy to grab the game by the scruff of the neck and show some bollocks. And I think we need personality players. That's what we do need. We need personality players like your Kales that we used to have, your Pinos, big personality players, your Fellinis. We need big personality players. And I do feel we're putting a bit of personality into our team now. We had a lot of dead players that had no personality. And I think when things got tough, you had no personality to step up and say, right, I'm going to win this game. And I think now Alcaraz and Jai, these are big personality players, ain't the Paul, that we didn't normally have. We had really boring players, I think. So I do believe we are getting bigger personality players. Moyes he'll find those players for us. There was a comment that said, there's some good comments coming in, by the way, people. If you haven't hit that like and subscribe, it says there's been 578 that have clicked on. If you haven't hit that like and subscribe, please give it a like. Because what YouTube does is if you get more likes on it, it pushes it out to more football fans and Everton fans. So we'll get more and more people on the shows if you like it. So help us out. Do like it, and then it'll push it up to the top, get it watched, and we'll get more Everton fans on the shows. That's what we want. Just help us out in that way. Make sure you do hit the like on the streams. And if you ain't subscribed, subscribe so you don't miss the shows. The comment there, it said, I'm satisfied. Which one was it? It's basically saying, you know what, was below par and we still got a draw.
Yeah,
I agree with that. And we didn't play that well today, but we still didn't get beat. And I think that's decent. It is decent. There was also another comment, I think it's here, come on, you Blues, come on, you Blues. It said, many people seem to forget one fact. This is exactly Darsh's team, minus Njai plus Alcaraz. Expected those group of basically saying we can't expect those group of players to be the top 8 straight away. Saying we need new blood. You can't expect miracles from these players, and Moyes is doing miracles with some of these players. Can't really massively disagree with that. We are doing well with these players at the minute.
Yeah, and the thing where you were saying as well about not playing very well but still getting a result. That's if we're getting that, then that's great. I mean, we had it plenty of times where we were playing well but still getting beat. You know, particularly if we play well for the first 60 minutes or whatever earlier in the season, then balls it up. But that's kind of where we are. Your teams who are in the top half of the table, top 6 or whatever, they can play crap every now and then and win the game. We don't generally do that. But if we're not losing, if we're playing bad and not losing, that's kind of where we are. So we've still got a little bit to go before we can be confident of not losing a game. It'll happen one day, maybe.
we are coming to the end of the show now, people. We try and keep it to an hour after the game, and obviously it's a late one, so even more so. Paul, listen to this, right?
Go for it.
I don't like talking about next season until this season's finished, but I'm going to put something out there, yeah?
Do it.
Njai on one wing.
Yeah.
Alcaraz in the number 10.
Yeah.
Jack Grealish.
On the right?
Well, wherever he wants to play. And Jai and Jack Grealish can play either side that they bloody want to play, but Jack Grealish, he'd be a cracking player for us, you know. Imagine how dangerous that would be, Jack Grealish. I know he likes a bevy, but he's still a good player. Jack Grealish and Jai. The skill of Grealish, because Grealish is good when he's on it, you know. He's hard to tackle and he's decent, and Grealish has got something about him. He's a big. We're talking about personality players. Nice part, June Dan. Yeah, well, I was trying. I'm trying to sneak it in at the end of the show. I just think, imagine Jack Grealish's personality and Jai and frigging Alcaraz. That'd make us a bit of a force, I'm telling you, because Grealish wants to move. I think there's still a player in him. I don't think we can afford his wages, but offer him a couple of pints and a lower wage, Paul. What do you say?
I mean, I like Jack Grealish, and you know, it's not his fault that the team paid 100 million for him. You know, good luck. He is a very good player. I don't think he should, but for us personally, you need someone else who, if anything, could be that person who's a mirror image to Njai. You know, same kind of player on the right hand side. would be ideal. Certainly,
Yeah,
someone
I think
who could come inside, who can maybe then, whoever the future right back is, because you'd imagine eventually O'Brien would move inside, but at the moment he's going to be the right back, someone who can link with the right back and create more of those opportunities, sort of within past the 18-yard line, and create a little bit more for us going into the area.
Yeah, well, I just love Grealish. I think he'd be a crack. And I get why some people don't like him. He can be a bit irritating as well. But all I care about is Everton being great again. And I think that Grealish would be a cracking signing. I don't know. It's going to be really interesting to see what the freaking group do, because they've said now that they want to push. They want to push for big things. And people saying like, "Oh, we need to work our way up slowly." This freaking group ain't going to work the way up slowly. They're going big next season. I don't know what they're going to do, but they're going for some big boy players. They want Moyes to get Europa League. They do. The freaking group do want Moyes to get Europa League, and I'm interested in seeing who we bring in. I don't know who it will be, but I think Grealish would be a good signing. There's going to be loads of players about, wingers and stuff like that. The point is, when we're playing and Njai's playing, I always feel if we get the ball to Njai, I'm so excited. When we get the ball on the right-hand side, I'm not as excited. I want someone on the right-hand side that gets me as excited as I do when the ball's over to Njai on the left. And that's what we need. I think we need to be dangerous both sides, and it'll help us as a team then, won't it, Paul? Because you'll find yourself like both sides. You look at Nottingham Forest for an example. They've got Hudson-Odoi one side. They've got Elanga the other side. And that's why they've had such a good season. Both sides very dangerous on the wings. We've just gone and seen them beat Man City today. And I think just playing with one really good winger and one average winger isn't as good. Yeah, I like Bowen as well. Don't think he'll like us though. I think Danny Dyer will have a bit of something to say about that, won't he, with him being a big West Ham fan. He'll have to get him away from West Ham. Yeah, he won't want him to leave West Ham.
Danny Dyer actually supporting us.
It's going to be interesting.
But someone on that right, someone naturally who that's their position on that right hand side. I do like the fact that we've got a balance, particularly in the back four. We've got a balance. How many back fours have you got where you've got a natural left back, a natural left-sided centre back, and then the same for the right-hand side next to them? And then you've got two lads who are in the middle, can use both feet. We've got that balance. And so if you've got Alcaraz in front of them, can go in any direction. You've got Iliman and Jai on the left-hand side, any direction, then try not to ruin that balance by bringing in someone who's going to play that right-hand side that can't do that as well. So someone who's naturally a right-sided player, whether they're someone who comes inside or not, someone we probably don't even know their name yet. Because how many of us sort of in the summer would have picked out Njai or Alcaraz? Did anyone ever say those two players until they were sort of mentioned in the press or anything else? No chance. No chance. And that's why I think Moyes, like Tazul mentioned it. Was it Tazul who mentioned it before? Yeah. Hopefully Moyes can unearth some gems, and there's obviously people who have been doing a decent job in doing that so far. So let's hope we've already got some in the pipeline.
As a channel,
Moyes has got some players that he already knows about that would be good for us next season.
Yeah, 100% agree. As a channel, we try. Obviously, rumours pop up, and we know you all love to talk about rumours. It's the dream, it's the fantasy to talk about new players. Of course it is. So we have to touch it a little bit. But the Topic Bluecast doesn't put that much stuff up at the minute on rumours. I'm seeing a lot of transfer talk going up already now before the season's finished. I think we need to just get our season done and make sure we're safe first. Then look at what they're going to do. All I will say is that, as someone said in the comments, it's going to be interesting. It's going to be a good summer there in the comments. One thing I will say is it's going to be a massive transfer window, probably one of the biggest transfer windows we've ever had. Not so much for spending, but we've got a lot of players that are loans. Do we keep them? Do we let them go? We've got a lot of players end of contracts. And I've seen some people get worried because they're like, oh, Coleman's going to be gone. Michael Keane's going to be gone. Ashley Young might be gone. Garner Gay might be gone. Decore might be gone. Jack Harrison might be gone. Lindstrom on loan might be gone. And 8 players, you get to 8, 9 players are going to be gone. But do remember, there's going to be a lot of free transfers. 3 teams, I'm not just going for players that are getting relegated, but 3 teams are going to get relegated. There's going to be free. Look, we've got Tarkowski. He's fantastic for us on a free transfer. So 3 teams are going to get relegated. There'll be good players in those. There's always good players in teams that get relegated. Not so much all of them, but there are always a few gems. There's also going to be things about where contracts are just up ain't the Paul, even in the good teams. Even in the really good teams, contracts are still coming up on players. So you could still land on really good players at the top where the contracts are finishing. So, yeah, I'm interested. I'm excited, but we won't talk about it that much until the end of the season. Let's make sure we get this work done before. Right, last words, Paul, and I'll give my last words because it is 11 minutes past 11. I know I'm a little bit gutted we didn't win tonight. I am a little bit gutted. I'm happy with this 8 unbeaten, but my standard's high. I wanted to win tonight. I really did want to win. And I tell you why, and some people won't like this, I am looking up the table. I want to push up that table. So I'm a bit gutted that we missed 2 points on pushing up that table. Taking over Man U and Tottenham.
Just to mention what Clarkie's on about there. Harrison Armstrong, Derby beat Blackburn today 2-1. He got man of the match, goal and assist. I think he either got an assist or he got man of the match in the game previous as well. 18-year-old lad doing well on his
Blackburn
loan.
are decent as well.
So
Blackburn are a good team as well.
Yeah, well, he's probably the one of the few who've come through the under 23s or whatever, and I actually do see him being part of the squad when he comes back. I think he's got enough to be in the squad moving forward. So yeah, we
loaned him, didn't we? We didn't sell him, did we?
No, he's only on loan, but he's doing well. And he's 18. It's when we've got lads who are getting into 2021 and they're still not getting a first team slot. Then generally it doesn't work out for them.
Our Armstrong wouldn't have been playing, by the way. I mean, we're talking. We really want a good player like Alcaraz to get in the 10, and he's not even getting in over Decore. So Armstrong wouldn't have played. So I like this. I like that he's on loan. He's smashing it in the Championship. His price tag's going up, and he's maybe even pushing his way into the Everton squad next season. Yeah. That's what it should be like. It's a shame Patterson isn't doing that as well. I think because we're short on right backs, we didn't do that with Patterson. But I think that would have been a good move on Patterson as well to get his growth going again as well, to have loaned him out and got him back on track. It's really good.
If he hadn't have had long-term injury, I'm pretty sure that would have happened with him as well. So, but
let him grow.
It's good. We've got backups for positions at the moment. We've got a Rubenham being used, and I think
he'll be decent. He'll be decent. Rubenham as well. I think he'll be under Moyes. I think Moyes will bring out a better.
And Armstrong.
He's really. He's good on the ball, Paul. He can run with the ball a bit more. He's got that. Where Alcaraz went on that run? I feel like Rubenham could go on that run as well. He's really good under pressure on the ball. So we've got a lot of potential. That was a good player from Villa that we got there, Rubenham. And we've got Alcaraz now. It's exciting times and a big transfer window where apparently we're going to be okay. And it's the first time we're going to be able to actually sign some players. Yeah. So exciting times for Everton.
Yeah, it is. It is exciting. And it might well be that it's lads that no one will have mentioned yet, because they're going to be like Tazul said, Moyes back in the day, we weren't spending, tens of millions of pounds. We were getting potential, and then they were fulfilling that potential, to be fair. Decent Championship players who are still early on their journey, like Cahill was, like Lescott was, like plenty of others were as well. Jagielka, for example. So, I trust him. I trust him and everyone who's part of that team to do a decent job in finding some.
When I seen the when I seen the coaching staff, it's interesting on what you just said. You had Moyes on the sideline. You had Baines chatting to him as well. You've got the other guy chatting to him as well, who looks like a very experienced guy. Kinley. Kinley looks like he knows what he's doing as well. So you've got Kinley and Moyes, very experienced, wise heads. Really, they look like they're coming up with solutions on the sideline. They won't let the ball go low. They'll be working on things. I can see that. And then you've got Baines, who's coming in with a real fresh idea. And I think Baines will be because Baines is such a young lad. I think they'll use him to connect the players to the managers. You know what I mean? They'll just send him in and say, have a chat with these lads. They're not far off your age. You're a bit older than them. Be the wise man. I think it's a good combination. I really do. I could see we wasn't good that first half, but I wasn't that worried because I felt safe that Moyes and Kinley will sort it out. And Baines was on there. He was saying stuff as well. And we're better. We are a lot better. Right. That is the end of the show, people. As much as you probably want us to stay. If you haven't hit that like and subscribe, please do so. Our target is to hit 6,000 subscribers by the end of this season. If we do that, we'll be very happy people because that's a lot of progression for us this season. So make sure you hit the like and the subscribe. We'd love all your comments, loads of comments after this game. Thanks. We'll be here before and after every game. We're always here, me and Paul, and then we get other people on as well. Of course we do. So up the top is... And unbeaten in 8. How many? I'm going to ask you now. I'm going to ask people in the comments.
Go on.
This is to finish it, by the way. This is not continuing. How many games? Tell us in the comments as well. I don't want to curse this. How many games do you think we'll go unbeaten? Good question.
It is a good question. It is a good question.
Put in the comments now. How many games do you think we'll go unbeaten?
Oh, I mean,
how many games?
Scars kind of, yeah. I think that's what people will be thinking about. It's whether people think we can get something from the derby. Nick's confident, so
what's he saying? 10.
He
10
said
more.
10,
Is
so
we're going to go 10.
We won't lose the derby. That'd be very good if we didn't lose the derby.
So we've got Everton, West Ham, then we've got the derby, and then we've got Arsenal. Oh my days! If we can pull through that unbeaten, so we've got some major battles coming up, lads. We best frigging pull our socks up because if we're going to keep this unbeaten run going, we've got to be on the ball because West Ham's no Mickey Mouse game. They've picked up, so we've got West Ham. Then we've got the derby. These are not easy games. Then we've got the derby. Then we've got Arsenal, who are trying to win the league still, probably failing on that miserably. Then we've got Nottingham Forest, and Nottingham Forest at their ground isn't an easy game. And then after that, we've got a nice easy game, Man City. And then after that, we've got Chelsea. This is why we're not safe yet, Paul. We need to make sure we put some points. Yeah, I didn't know it was this hard. And then we've got Ipswich. After Chelsea, we've got Ipswich. That's a little bit of a holiday, but they might be in a relegation battle, so it's not. Then we've got Fulham at their ground, which isn't easy. Then we've got Southampton. And then we've got... Is it Newcastle the last game of the season?
Yeah, Newcastle away last day.
A derby that doesn't exist. So, yeah.
Yeah. But you know what?
A lot of work to be done yet.
Knowing us, we go unbeaten. We get a few draws and the odd win in those against all the top 5 and then lose against Ipswich.
Take not losing them.
You know what? I'd take that. I wouldn't mind beating Liverpool in the derby and beating Arsenal or Chelsea and then losing against Ipswich. I'll take that now. Clip it. We'll come back. I love it. Come back in a month or whatever.
So unbeaten in 8. If we win every game now to the end of the season, we're unbeaten in 18. So all we've got to do to be unbeaten in 18 and finish the season unbeaten in 18 is beat West Ham, beat the Shite, beat Arsenal, beat Nottingham Forest, beat Man City, beat Chelsea, beat Ipswich, beat Fulham, beat Southampton, and beat Newcastle. I didn't realise our run of games is that hard, you know. We've got some hard games coming up. I can see why people say we're not safe yet. Do you know what I mean? We've got some big games coming up. Let's just say that.
We'll be right. We'll be right.
We'll beat West Ham and we beat the derby. And I think people in the commentary, in the journalists, was saying if we win 2 games, we're safe now. So yeah, beat West Ham, win the derby, and we'll take it from there.
And
Love it.
like Larky says, we'll never get beat again.
Yeah, we are just the famous EFC, and then we'll win all 18 games. So we win 18 games in a row, and we go into Bramley-Moore Dock doing an Arsenal. We'll be like the Invincibles. We'll win the whole season, pure dogs of war. We'll like win the league, Premier League next season without even losing a game. With Jack Grealish scoring 40 goals in one season, like Gary Lineker did.
Can't wait.
Love it. Up the top is everyone. Have a boss night. We're unbeaten in 8. Bring it on. Bring on the next game. See you later, everyone. Have a boss night.